Oh, yeah. Sunday Night Live. Tonight, we're going to talk about not a news item. We're not going to break down a lot of news. I'm going to share my heart on something tonight. Don't know how long we'll be on here, but I think we need to make a comment on it. Because when the whole world, all of the secular media, all the powerful elite are all joining forces to try to come against a movie that's been made 5 years ago and it finally made it to the movie theater, we need to talk about it. And we need to ask the question, why are they trying to stop it? Well, we're going to tell you tonight why they're trying to stop it. It's very, very obvious. We're going to talk about Jim Caviezel's new movie, The Sound of Freedom. And we're going to show you some stuff tonight that you need to know. It's very sickening, but it's also hopeful to see what's happening. Tonight on The Big Picture, we're going to break down the surprise blockbuster hit that's in the movie theaters called Sound of Freedom. What is it about? Why is the world turned upside down about it? Tonight on The Big Picture. Right after this. All right, start right off. Let's just go ahead and smash the like button. Yeah, I like that comment, Anthony. I want to know what they knew and when they knew it. So tonight we're just going to see who jumps on here tonight, and got a lot of folks I know that will be watching the replay. But tonight I want to just share my heart on this movie called, let's fire this right here and we'll talk about it. It's called The Sound of Freedom. This is Jim Caviezel, worldwide known as playing Jesus, of course, in The Passion of the Christ, Mel Gibson's movie, The Passion of the Christ, the greatest depiction of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ that's ever been put on screen to this day. But he's also was the star of the show that Sandy and I recommend all the time on our Monday night show, which is Person of Interest is what it's called. Tremendous show, y'all. I would advise everyone to go back and watch this series, Person of Interest. And even if you've watched it, go back and watch it again, because now that you are awake to what's really going on in the world, it will be even more powerful to know what they were trying to reveal to us. But it's exciting that this is a box office hit. Sound of Freedom projected to make $40 million in its opening week. It is unreal, y'all. Actor Jim Caviezel's latest Sound of Freedom opened at select theaters on the 4th of July across the United States. As you know, his most famous role for Jesus, playing Jesus in The Passion of the Christ. He said he's promoted it everywhere. It says Caviezel worked with several former federal agents and 30 Navy SEALs while filming in Colombia. Now, most of you probably know what this movie is about, but some of you have no idea. You never even heard of this movie. But watch this, and I'm going to break it down what this movie's about. Sound of Freedom has beat Indiana Jones on Indiana Jones's opening weekend, or last weekend. Sunday Night Angel Studios, which of course is the ones that put on the Chosen series, reported that Sound of Freedom has now hauled in $40 million in sales. As with our July 4th numbers, today's numbers exceeded our expectations, and we're going to continue this momentum. Sound of Freedom has taken a life of its own. We're getting messages from all over the country telling us about packed theaters, sold-out theaters, and spontaneous standing ovations for the film in numerous locations. Seeing this film has become a must thanks to incredible word of mouth. Very deeply grateful. AMC, Cinemark, Regal, all of the movie partners working to accommodate the surging demand of this film and having the courage to release The Sound of Freedom during the busiest movie season of the year. So you can see they're opening the weekend box office projections, 18,200,000. Opening week box office projection, 40,200,000. You can see the audience score, cinema score of A+, Rotten Tomatoes, 76 and 99. 76 for, which is surprising, 76 for the actual reviewers, the professional reviewers, and a 99 score from the public. Now, why is this so important? It is because, listen to me, first before we get into what this movie is about and why they're trying to stop this movie. This movie was made 6 years ago, 5.5 years ago, almost 6 years ago. And it was made by Fox. And they're getting ready to release it. And then Disney bought Fox. And when Disney bought Fox, I want you to think about this. This is a movie. Let me just go and tell you what this movie is about. This movie is about child human trafficking. Now, I have to be very careful. Now, I'm on Rumble as well tonight. If I was just on Rumble, I could feel more freely to speak on a lot of things. But being on YouTube, I got to sort of parse my words. But I think most people are going to figure out what I'm about to say. This is about human trafficking. This is the person that he is depicting. This movie is based on a true story, and we'll talk about that in just a second. But and this person has liberated adults and children. But this movie decided to really show you what is happening with the children in this world, and it is now surpassed the illegal weapons trade in economy, in money. It is now past that, is making more money in selling of slaves, of children. You understand what I'm saying when I say slaves? I'm not talking about slaves that mop the floors. That's part of it. But you understand what they're being sold as slaves to do. Children. We have a world right now that doesn't want to call them what they've always been called. Now they want to be called MAP, or minor attracted persons, instead of the other word, which gets you flagged for even saying it. Think about it. You get flagged for even saying that word. So you have to be careful not to say that word. I might even get flagged for saying MAP. But that's what they want to be called. They want to add a color to the rainbow flag to represent these people that are attracted to children. And so there is an entire industry. Think about this, okay? I'm probably going to go right in right now and get kicked off right off the bat. But think about, Epstein and all that happened with Epstein, okay? We still have not got any kind of list, even though he had a detailed log of everyone that went to his island, everybody was over on his plane, we don't know a single person for sure, except the one woman that's in jail. Of course, he's gone now, supposedly. But the reality is this: we don't know a single person that was on that island. Why? Because it's a sickening for me to even say this and have a show like this. But this is how huge this industry is. It is surpassed, as I said, illegal weapons trade. You can imagine the billions of dollars that's paid to move weapons across country to country and underneath the radar. It is now making more money than that. And one of the things the movie points out is that it is about to overtake the drug cartel. Do you understand the drug industry and the money that moves through drugs? There are many people in Mexico and other parts of South America that are walking away from the drug deals. These are entire cartels. They see more money in this than they do drugs. That's how profitable of a business this is. And when you understand, think about how nobody wants to talk about the border. Nobody wants to actually fix the border. It is because there are tens of thousands, and I'm not exaggerating, tens of thousands of children that are coming across that border unaccompanied by an adult. And many of them are disappeared. We have no idea. I saw a senator just this week railing against the so-called leader of Homeland Security. He's pathetic. He needs to be impeached right now himself. But telling him, look, there are over 20,000, something like that, children right now that you have that are unaccounted for, that you don't know where they are at, and you will sit there with a smirk on your face. Because on every level, business, elite, money, and of course, I'm getting notifications right now that my stream is already being affected, being lowered and all this. I would not be surprised if this show does not survive, and it'd be disguised as something else. So stay with me on this. But that's what this is about. Then you have the Hollywood elites. You have people that have, when you get initiated into the Hollywood crowd, it is sickening. I'm not going to say all this stuff that I could say. I think most of you can connect the dots. So when Fox made this movie almost 6 years ago, Disney bought it. And you know what Disney did? You remember Disney, the Magical Kingdom, Disney, Walt Disney, Daffy Duck. I mean, not Daffy Duck, but Donald Duck, and you know that Mickey Mouse, that Disney. Guess what? Disney bought Fox, and one of the first things they did when they bought Fox is they took this movie, they watched this movie that exposed that world and that industry in Hollywood, and they shelved it and said it's never going to see the light of day. They wouldn't make the movie. They wouldn't put the movie in the theaters. Disney did that. So the movie's been sitting there for all these years, been made for years. Well, they kept trying to buy the rights to it. They couldn't get the rights back to it. They had a certain amount of years that Disney held it. When those years went by, they began to try to buy back the rights to it. Well, ended up Angel Studios bought the rights to it. You know what Angel Studios did? I want you to think about this now. This is a movie about freeing children from slavery, from you know what kind of slavery, okay? That's what this movie is about. And so they went to Amazon and said, we want to give it to you, Amazon. You stream it. Amazon, you know what Amazon said? We don't want it. No way. They went to Netflix, and Netflix said, we don't want it. So all of these streaming platforms that are what everybody's watching now, they did the same thing Disney said. They don't want it. So they thought this message has got to get out. So you know what they did? They pre-sold tickets. They just said, we're just going to pre-sell these tickets, and then we're going to know that we're going to have some kind of return on our investment and all this so we can continue to make movies like this. So they pre-sold millions of tickets, y'all. It's unbelievable before it ever even opened. And then they had the power behind that to put it in the movie theaters. Well, it comes out. Can you think about the audacity? They've waited almost 6 years for this movie. This movie's been made for almost 6 years. And they've gone through Fox. They've gone through Disney. They've gone through Amazon. They've gone through Netflix. And none of them would show this movie. So they finally got it to the theaters. And they decided, you know what? It's called Sound of Freedom. We're going to open it up on July 4th weekend. And we're going to open it up directly against one of the most iconic names in the history of movies, Indiana Jones. Indiana Jones was trounced by this movie. Indiana Jones is woke. They destroyed Indiana Jones, okay? Raiders of the Lost Ark. They destroyed it. They turned it into this woke. You know, some of y'all might have seen it. I haven't seen it yet. And I might still see it just for nostalgia. But it's not the Indiana Jones that we were raised on. And you know what? You go woke, you go broke. And so here's this movie. Now, what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to show you the trailer for those that haven't seen it. And you'll notice this little diamond pattern on here. I've got a little filter that I put on there that I can, it's pretty cool. Let me just show you this. Like I can change, like when I'm showing a video. So I'm revealing my secrets here, y'all. But this enables me to sort of alter the video a little bit. So I'm hoping that that's going to be enough to not get me a copyright strike. But I want to show you the trailer. This is the trailer for the movie Sound of Freedom, and it is powerful.
I don't think I can do this job, Tim. As soon as I lay down.
So I know that's a little difficult to see with that filter. I'm going to try change one other kind of filter here. Maybe we won't get flagged. We'll see. But of course, you see Jim Caviezel. He's playing a true story of a man that worked for the Department of Homeland Security, and he was head of the department for trying to stop human trafficking. And he found some things that he had never expected to see.
Only see those kids' faces. How long you been doing this? 12 years. How do you do it? It is the fastest growing international crime network that the world has ever seen. It has already passed the illegal arms trade, and soon it's going to pass the drug trade.
Señor Timoteo, tú rescatas niños, ¿verdad? Quizá puedas ayudarme a encontrar a mi hermana.
Imagine walking into a room right now, seeing an empty bed. What will we do?
This is the border. And in those cars, many of those cars are children who have been abducted. I saw one lady that watched this and she came out and she was so overwhelmed. And she said, all I can say to you, mothers and fathers, keep your eyes on your children. Never let your children out of your sight, because we live in a world that at any moment somebody is watching your children and can take your child. This is not the world that I grew up in, y'all. Evil things have always happened, but this is a different world. Evil is on another level.
We're Homeland Security. You know we can't go off rescuing kids in Colombia.
This job tears you to pieces. This is my one chance to put those pieces back together.
We're talking about extracting an 11-year-old girl from an army of rebels.
Not just her. I'm talking about rescuing hundreds of kids.
She could be a block down the road, or she could be in Moscow, Bangkok, LA.
Over 2 million children a year are being sucked into the deepest recesses of hell.
Over 2 million children a year that we know of.
If we do nothing, someday it's gonna reach the likes of you. What if this was your daughter?
Wherever I go, I find.
What if this was your daughter? I'm sure I'm going to get a copyright strike on that. I hope not. But if you're still with me, still watching, comment. Let me know what you thought of that trailer. But man, now let me just say, full disclosure. You say you're doing a show about a movie that you haven't seen yet. I have not seen it yet. It just came out this weekend. I hadn't had time to see it, but I promise you this, I will be going to see it. Number one, I want to support any kind of movie that is out of the mainstream. We got to support them, because that's how they keep making movies that are not this woke, sick, grooming mentality that we preach against and speak against and pray against. Somebody makes a movie that helps us expose this, and we won't sit at home and not support it. We need to find a way. You'll fast a meal if you have to. Fast a couple of meals if you have to. And go support this movie. But people all over are supporting this movie. Very surprising people. This is not a Christian movie. Listen to me. This is not a Christian movie. It's not a bad movie. And what I've heard from several people is that it is not only a phenomenal, the cinematography. I mean, one particular guy, I don't endorse, all his feelings, but I do watch a lot of news organizations, news webs, YouTube shows, and to gather information about what's going on in our world. And one of them is Timcast. Some of you might watch Timcast, Tim Pool. And Tim Pool is, as an atheist or an agnostic at best, he's not a believer. But he will have believers on the show and all this. But he went to see this movie. He had never even heard of this movie. And people kept telling him, secular friends, you need to go see this movie. And one thing about him, he's a libertarian. He really wants to get the government's hands off of our families. So he went to see this movie. And guys, I would encourage you to go find his review of this movie. He absolutely says, in all of my life, this is one of the most important and incredible movies I've ever seen in my life. He said it's a 10 out of 10, but it's excellent made. The acting is incredible. The lighting is incredible. The writing is incredible. He just went on and on and on. And he said, this is one of the few movies that he said, when I came out of that theater, he got emotional too. He said, I said to myself, I've got to do something. I've got to do something. He said, I love Taken. Y'all know that movie Taken. It's a great movie about abduction. He said, but that movie, you go see that movie, and it's about, because that's the whole trafficking thing is sort of the background of the movie. It's really about, Ian Leeson, being this great hero and all the action scenes. He said, no, this movie is about what's really happening. And he said, I left that other movie just thinking, that's a great movie. I love Taken, but I left this movie thinking, I got to do something. And he said, if all I can do right now is tell people to go see this movie, go see this movie. And of course, some of you are big UFC fighter fans. I don't watch it. I know a little bit about it, but just interesting things like this are just popping up all over. UFC's Dana White endorses Sound of Freedom, says you must see this movie. He says talks about the film is based on the true story of Tim Ballard, a former federal agent, and his mission to save children in the underground sex slave trade. In 2013, Ballard quit his job at DHS as special agent to establish Operation Underground Railroad, which helps rescue trafficked children from slavery and exploitation worldwide. And it says, in support of this film and this topic, the Ultimate Fighting Championship president posted a video on his Twitter account encouraging everyone to see this movie while they're offering free tickets. He went and bought free tickets to all of his employees. He said, there's a movie out there called Sound of Freedom. It's about human trafficking. More importantly, the trafficking of children. This is a disgusting, horrific issue that's happening all around the world, and it's not getting better. It's getting worse. Where I live here in the state of Alabama, we're in the belt, the buckle of the Bible Belt. But it is the interstate that comes through our city is known as the number one interstate to traffic children and human trafficking, transporting across our country, right here in our own town. And it is just disgusting. It is just absolutely disgusting. Let me show you real quick before I wind this program down. I want to show you this. This is one example. Let me do this first. So if you go to Google and you just search Sound of Freedom, I just searched Sound of Freedom and I clicked news. So you get a plethora. There are some positive reviews there, but look at this. Sound of Freedom is a superhero movie for dads with brain worms. Rolling Stone. Roger Ebert, who is a very, very well-known atheist. So it's, I've seen some of the things he said. He's disgusted by Jim Caviezel. Once Jim played Jesus, they were done with him. Somebody says, Washington Post says, is Sound of Freedom a true story? What to know about the movie and QAnon ties? Now, I get flagged just for saying that. You can't say that word. It starts with the letter Q. You can't even say Q. This is the world we live in. You can't even say Q. Do you understand there's a list of words that I've studied that will tell you that you'll get flagged? One of the words is Q, just the word Q, because it represents this, QAnon thing. I'm sure that I'm getting flagged left and right here. But so they turned it in. That's how they're going this way. They're saying this is a movie about conspiracy theories of people that are attached to that particular movement because of some of the things that Jim Caviezel has said in his interviews. And some of the things that he said in his interviews is he's flat out told them of some of the hideous, demonic, satanic rituals that are happening with children. And their response is not, well, yeah, we need to stop these satanic rituals happening with children. No, they say that's a conspiracy theory, that they're not really doing that, which you and I both know they are absolutely doing that. And then, of course, it shows a few positive things. But I want to show you this one particular review. Rolling Stone magazine. This is disgusting. If you read anything and support Rolling Stone, I need to pray and for some deliverance for you, because they are demonically possessed. Listen to this. Sound of Freedom is a superhero movie for dads with brain worms. The QAnon tinge, and I'm just going to go ahead and say the word, take a chance, thriller. This is what he called it. Not a movie about saving children, exposing an industry that is trafficking children. Rolling Stone says this is a QAnon-tinged thriller about child trafficking, is designed to appeal to the conscience of a conspiracy-addled boomer. That's the headline. Look how it says, based on a true story in quotations. I heard someone say from even in the theater. I'm not going to read all this. But knows Caviezel, best known for being tortured to death in Mel Gibson's The Passion of the Christ. Can I help you, Rolling Stone? He was not carrying out a role being tortured to death. He was playing Jesus Christ, who was killed, died for our sins, and came back from the dead. So he talks about all the QAnon stuff, right down to his use of catchphrases like the storm is upon us. Here, He gets to act out some of the drama by playing a fictionalized version of Tim Ballard, head of the anti-sex trafficking, blah, 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 Underground Railroad. And then he takes a shot at the real man Ballard. Ballard himself has dabbled in the Q-adjacent conspiracy theories, such as the Wayfair trafficking hoax, and while his organization's far-right infinities and a long record of distorting and his botched raids, which rely on bizarre tactics like asking psychics where to find victims for rescue. I don't know about all that. But there's so much of this stuff I can't even read. You know, it's just, this is the thing that blows my mind. This is the thing that absolutely burns me up, is I can't read this stuff. I can't talk about this stuff. They don't want you going to see this in the movie, but how are we going to ever expose what's really going on? Why are they so against this? It is because they are involved in it. Now, I don't care. I'm at the point in my life, I don't care. People think I'm got a tinfoil hat on right now by saying this. You are asleep. You are absolutely sound asleep if you do not think that now the most second profitable, illegal, about to be the number one. Listen to me. It's number two that we know of, about to be officially number one. Sickening to even say it. Most profitable, illegal economy in the world is what we're talking about. And we're not talking about drugs, and we're not talking about weapons. God Almighty. We are talking about children. We are talking about young women. We are talking about men as well, young boys and girls, being set up and put in rooms to where people can come in and shop. Billionaires can come in, pay to fly their Lear jets into certain remote places and shop like they're walking through a mall. That is what this movie exposes. So I'm going to tell you, I've said it before, and I'm going to wind this down, because if I keep on, I'm going to say some stuff that's going to get me completely kicked off, and I won't even have a channel anymore, and we'll just say, good to know you. I hope that don't happen. I'm hoping I can stay on here to the rapture somehow. But the reality is this. When the wah-wah happened and it spread out all over the world for 2.5 years, everybody's locked down, scared to death, wearing masks, all this kind of stuff, mandates and all this, two types of people emerged. The sheep were exposed, and when you know what happened is they become even deeper sheep. That's what I talked about Monday nights. I think it was Monday night. All the days are running together. Actually, I think it was last night when I did a show. And in the UK and many other health officials have said, we're not even worried about it. When the next one comes and starts sweeping around the globe, we've got the people program. We know they will just line up. They might push back the first couple weeks, but they're going to get in line. They're going to wear the mask. They're going to social distance. They're going to stay home. We've got them now. They know that's what you do. And then you have the other group. It's small. It's called the remnant. Then you have a remnant that came out of the wah-wah saying, you know what? No. Love my family. I'll protect my family. I'm not against medication, not against doctors, but the truth is, you're not taking over my house again. You're not taking over my church again. You're not, and by the way, all this other stuff that we've been afraid to talk about, that we've been afraid to expose. You got the Jim Caviezels, you got Mel Gibsons, you got some very, very small, tiny little remnant of people in that world, that elite world, the millionaire world, that are coming out and they're saying, I cannot stay silent anymore. I cannot stay silent anymore. The catchphrase of that trailer was, what if this was your daughter? So some of these people, like Jim Caviezel, is a man of God. They're rising up and they're saying, I'm on a mission. This could be my daughter. This could be my neighbor's daughter. This could be my niece. This could be my nephew. Somebody has to say it. But I'm going to tell you, I could drop some names right now, y'all. And you could go down this rabbit hole. And I'm not telling you that you got to go down that rabbit hole, but you go down that rabbit hole, you'll start seeing some of the more famous names, the richest people in the world, some of the most influential actors, directors, software designers, investment firm directors, media moguls, news anchors, listen to me, Democrats and Republicans, equal number across the board that are involved in this. It is sick. It is demonic. Many of these things are demonic rituals, secret society rituals. I don't care what you call me by saying that. This is fact, y'all. That's why I sit in front of this camera, and that's why I put my reputation on the line. That's why I'm not asking for sympathy. I'm not asking for your sympathy. But this is why I don't, a lot of times, I'm not with my family right now. I'm in a room by myself. I got 2 grandbabies. On the other side of this wall, 2 beautiful granddaughters. I have 2 beautiful grown daughters. This kills me. That's why I got to do what I got to do, because I'm no more special than you, but God's called me to be a voice, and God's called me to get on here and let you know what's going on. So, go see the movie. Go see the movie. One of the cool things that I heard that they're doing at the end, and this will be the last thing I say before I cut off of here tonight, is they scroll a QR code. This is so amazing. This is so incredibly creative. And you can scan that QR code and you can buy a ticket right there in the movie theater. And when you pay for it, you can put it in a pool where it's a free ticket for a stranger that may not spend the money to go see a movie like this, but you say, hey, come see this movie with me. I got a free ticket. You can go to a certain website and you can get free tickets that people have bought. Not just free tickets that the movie theater is giving away, tickets that people in the theater bought to give to people that want to go see this movie, simply because it's a seed sown to open up the eyes of the people. And I've heard that they do that at the very end and a call to action. So as we go here tonight, I want to remind you that this is Sunday night. If you're watching this live, either on Rumble or YouTube, tomorrow, I always hit the wrong one. Tomorrow night at 7 o'clock is Sandy and I, it's our weekly live show. Most of you know about it. If you don't know about it, then Central Time, 7 p.m., be right here on Rumble and YouTube only. YouTube and Rumble only, not on Facebook or anywhere else. And we're going to cover the news items of the day. And if you want the in-depth Bible study, we have in-depth Bible study on Wednesday nights at 7 p.m. We are finishing up the book of Revelation, y'all. It's mind-boggling to know that we're on part 21, I think, this coming week. It's incredible. And we have been going verse by verse. I want to throw this live chat up at the end of the program just to show all these people that are so active. We got a great Sunday night crowd that stayed with us here. Everybody commenting, everybody is encouraging each other. So this is what the Big Picture family is all about, ladies and gentlemen. We appreciate it. And then last but certainly not least, if you want to help us, support us, there's ways that you can support us. You can become a partner by simply clicking join down below us and, hitting that like button. That don't cost you anything. I see some people hitting it right now. That always helps us. I'm going to put this up here to remind y'all while I'm talking about this. Smash that like button. But you can go to LarryRagland.tv, excuse me, and when you get there, LarryRagland.com or .tv, and you'll see where it says, help us launch the Big Picture TV show. Well, we are going to be flying to Indianapolis, Sandy and I, in a little less than 2 weeks now, and we are going to, by faith, record 13 TV shows, 3 months worth of programs that are going to go into the homes of millions of people. And it's going to be called The Big Picture, just like this. And we're going to use what God has given us to get the gospel to as many people as possible. Several of you have already helped us. If you want to help us, all you got to do is click that give button. When you click that give button, you can give by card online, or you can send a check to us. We appreciate that. Several of you have already done that. And quite frankly, we really appreciate that, because we don't have to pay the processing fees on that. And we are able to put 100%, whatever you hit on the give now or whatever you mail to Larry Ragland Ministries on your screen right now, then I promise you 100% of that is going all to the television ministry, because we can have $23,300 for 3 months worth of programs. And so none of that goes to us. It goes directly to the television ministry. So help us out by going to LarryRagland.tv and helping us do what God has put on our heart to do. So thank y'all for being a part of this show tonight. Share this broadcast, because it's very important. We need to get the word out. I cannot wait to see you tomorrow night, because Sandy and I got a lot of stuff to cover. And don't forget, starting this Thursday night, can I do something real quick before you go? Because I got to get this graphic. I should have downloaded this graphic, but y'all, some of y'all know about this and some of y'all don't know about this. But this is going to happen starting this Thursday night. Let me throw this up here real quick. Just to remind you guys, I'm so excited about this, and then I'm going to jump off of here. And that is the Kingdom Intelligence Report is going to happen every Thursday night at 7 p.m. What is going on? I can't scroll. What is happening here? Let's see. Maybe we can do this. Why is this doing this? Come on. There we go. All right, so the Kingdom Intelligence Report is every Thursday night at 7 p.m., and you'll see the ones we have. These are the first, second, third, and fourth Thursday of each month. It's going to happen every single month. The Kingdom Intelligence Report, Paul Begley, Ricky Scaparo from End Time Headlines, Stan Deo from standeo.com, Mark Carell from Prophecy in the News, and his show. These are four of the greatest voices right now on end times events and current events. So we now have Monday Night Live with Sandy and I. We have Wednesday Night Bible Study that's live, and now we have Thursday Night Live with Paul Begley, Ricky Scaparo. Thank you, Mr. Grinch, for that super sticker. Stan Deo and Mark Carell. So you guys go ahead and make plans to be a part of that. It's going to be phenomenal. So that's tomorrow night, Wednesday night, and Thursday night. Thank you for joining us tonight on The Big Picture. Be blessed, everybody. And remember, no matter what's going on, we ain't woke, but we are certainly awake. Go see the movie. God bless.